What's going on?
All right. Can you guys hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. I got a new mic, so sorry about that, guys. A little tweaking. I forgot to set the appropriate mic in Zoom. Let me just go back to what I was talking about with PayPal. So I set a Fibonacci retracement on PayPal. And the way to do that is you come over here to the left and you select your Fib retracement tool. You start at you pick a low. For here, we're going to pick this low here. This is the weekly, mind you. Each one of these candlesticks is worth 1 week. So we're going to come back down here to March of 2020 and draw our low and then drag it up to our high. Now you can go as far over with this as you want, as long as the top of the line touches the high. And then we take a look at our retracement. Now, each one of these lines represents a different retracement. It's not very often that a stock will retrace in the middle of one of these. A lot of times it's going to bounce off one of these lines. So I would almost expect PayPal to drop down farther before it gets a nice bounce. But then again, you never know. I mean, if we were to draw this back a little bit to another low, let's see. I mean, it's pretty close to bouncing off of the 0.5 on the Fib retracement. So we may see a reversal, but I'm kind of iffy on it right now. The RSI is very, very oversold, which is nice. So We could, like I said, we could see a reversal, but just going to keep an eye on it just because I'm just afraid it's just going to continue down a little bit farther before we get a nice bounce. Keeping an eye on PayPal. Now, that's for short-term plays. PayPal in the long run, you're at a very good price point right now. So you could enter right now in a leap, and I guarantee you're going to make money on that leap. So if you were to enter a play, say March of 2023 or 24 even, with like a 200 strike, those are kind of expensive, but you're going to make a lot of money on that. Even if you went out to the next earnings date, which is February. Let's go back to the daily chart. Next earnings date is February 2nd. There's a expiration in February for contracts of February 22nd. So if we draw a vertical line on February 22nd, you could enter a play for February 22nd and still be in it after the next earnings. With Christmas coming up, I'm expecting PayPal to beat earnings. So the price right now is super, super low. It's very oversold. I'm actually in one February 22nd play right now. It is a 210 strike. And I think I paid $1,025 for it for one contract. So they're kind of expensive, but like I said, PayPal is very, very well priced right now. All right. Carvana, the SPY recovered a little bit today. So a lot of these other stocks, we're going to see some green in them too, but I'm still bearish on Carvana just because, you know, it's in this channel. It broke down past our descending wedge. And so I'm still expecting to see a down trend on Carvana, at least for a little bit. Facebook, AKA Meta Platforms, huge recovery today. So if we look at this candlestick pattern here, this is very close to an engulfing candle. Let me get rid of this resistance support lines here. What an engulfing candle is where the entire body of the previous candle is engulfed entirely in the next day's candle. So this is very close to that, which is a bullish sign. So you've also got a very strong buy wick on yesterday's candle, or not yesterday, but Friday. So the only thing I'm seeing here on this is the Ripster's EMA clouds are still showing a downtrend pattern, but we are a bit oversold in the RSI down here. So I'm becoming a little bit bullish on Meta Platforms. So we're going to redraw our arrow. Let's check news on Facebook. Meta says launching Pac-Man community on Facebook gaming, whatever. 7 social media stocks your portfolio will like. WhatsApp says users will now have the option to turn on disappearing messages. I mean, there's nothing big. It's just a bunch of random little news. So if we're looking at it at a technical analysis standpoint, it could go either way. Because of our EMAs still show bearish, but our candlesticks show bullish. So we'll keep an eye on it. Twitter up along with the other social media platforms. Twitter's up today. But we've also got resistance here. So, and there's not much of a move before it hits that resistance. Very oversold on the RSI. We'll keep an eye on it. If you guys have any specific stocks you want to look at, let me know and we'll go take a look at them. PLTR recovery today, but still a very, very solid downtrend on the Ripster's EMA clouds. Very, very oversold. Let's get rid of some of these lines here. It's a little confusing. We'll keep this support line that it broke down past, and this may actually begin to act as a resistance. So if this reverses, we could see a bounce off this resistance here. Now let's see. It looks like it did bounce off of a pretty solid support. So let's take our horizontal line, mark where it bounced, and then come and take a look over here. So you've got some support in this area here. And so Palantir Technologies is a very strong chance of a reversal here, at least up until this resistance line. So let's check Palantir news. I know you guys can't see this, so I'm just going to read it out loud. 10 stocks to buy according to billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller. Kramer's lightning round. No, there's nothing big, but there's no news. But at the same time, this does look actually really good. We don't have earnings for a while. We have a very oversold RSI. We have a bounce off of support. So I'm actually pretty bullish on Palantir right now. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the playlist. And we'll come back to it before the end of the day. Monster beverage making a recovery. We can get rid of this gap because this has already been filled. Now this was our resistance line, and as you can see, today it's bouncing right off of that resistance line. So we may see some chop here on Monster. Let's get rid of this vertical line. It didn't quite touch it, but almost. So now it looks like we've got support here around $81. So now we've got our alert set. So if Monster pushes past our resistance line here, we could see a run up. If it bounces back down, we may see some chopping in this channel here. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. All right, moving on. Disney making a recovery. Get rid of these vertical lines here for these expiration dates. I like to add vertical lines to my charts to visually represent where the expiration date is going to be on my options contracts. I'm not going to delete this yet. This is still a gap that's in play. So like I said, Disney is making a recovery here, looking pretty good, but I mean, we're getting a bit of an uptrend, but it's still, volume is low and it's a little bit choppy. Actually, let's see if we can do a Fib retracement here. You can also do Fib retracements the other way. This would be a rather large Fib retracement. Let's go way down here. Get rid of these confusing white lines. Yeah, so it looks like Disney is bouncing off of the 0.5 on the Fib retracement. Pushed past down it a little bit. This thing's not exact, but it looks like we could be seeing a reversal on Disney here. Let's check Disney news. Disney's Encanto takes top box office spot. Steven Spielberg's West Side Story will not play in Saudi Arabia. 7 stocks to buy. Disney's Encanto stays top of domestic box office. So nothing huge for Disney, but technical standpoint, you've got, it was massively oversold. It's on the RSI, it's starting to re-enter the RSI zone. We don't have earnings again until February 8th. So that's good. I think we could see a run up before the next earnings and maybe even fill this gap. So I'm bullish on Disney. We'll add Disney to our playlist. It's already on there. Okay. We'll come back to our playlist before the end of the day, before we pick plays. Mara, recovering a bit today, but let's real quick take a look at Bitcoin. So this is the daily. The past few days, Bitcoin has been in like this massive downtrend. It shot way down past, dropped all the way down to 42K 3 days ago, which is like huge. So I don't know what happened with that. I'm almost thinking that it's because of the holiday season. People are liquidating and taking profits so that they can buy gifts and whatnot. But like I've always said, when it comes to cryptocurrency, you got to have a strong stomach for it. You got to be able to ride the volatility waves, because if you panic sell, you're going to miss out. Crypto goes up and down. You got to go up and down with it. When you see crypto go down, way down, think of that as a sale and average in, buy some more and lower your average cost. It's the best way to think about crypto. It'll go back up. It always does. So Bitcoin recovered a little bit these past couple of days. That's probably why Mara's up. Okay, so FSL, we had our downtrend here, which is kind of still in play. If we extend this line, we're kind of still in a downtrend angle here, or a downtrend channel. So we've got an alert set here for when this breaks out of this downtrend, we could see a run up. We are getting very close to the bottom of the RSI, which is oversold, which could indicate a reversal. This is something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. We've got our alert set, so I'll make sure you guys know if we get that alert. On Blink, we have a very strong buy wick today. It's down, but it's also recovered from its low today quite a bit. So we can get rid of this gap because this is no longer in play because it's been filled. Get rid of the arrow. Yeah, I'm not really loving the chart though. It's kind of choppy up and down. So moving on. Tal Education Group, another one that's very sideways. It's been very sideways for a very long time. Still waiting on the reversal from this to go back up. So we might not see that until earnings. If they beat earnings, and I mean by like a lot, then we could see a run up to fill this gap. But this was a massive, massive gap down back here in July. And this was an earnings gap down. So it just, earnings came and it just dumped. So, and it's just been going sideways ever since. So we're still waiting on a recovery from that. And we've got our alerts set, so we'll keep an eye on it. Apron, So we put our arrow here because we thought that Apron was going to have a green day today and bounce up to the top of our channel here, which, as you can see, it actually did. Let me move my arrow out of there. So it actually did. It bounced up, it hit the channel, and now it's kind of back down. So that being said, I'm almost bearish in the short term on Apron because, as you can see, this thing's been riding this channel since September. It's up, it's down, it's up, and I could almost see it going. Actually, let's take this arrow here and let's go measure our trajectory. So we've got something like this for a downtrend trajectory. If we drag this over, it's very close to the same thing here. So if we bring this up one more time to where we're at now, I'm expecting this to pretty much do the exact same thing before bouncing back up again. So it might not even be a bad idea to get into some puts, but you never want to go against a trend. So I say we wait until tomorrow for Apron, and if it's looking like it's going to come down, it's not going to come straight down. So we'll still have plenty of time to get in a put play on Apron. So we'll wait on this for tomorrow and see if we get a red candle on Apron on the first 5-10 minutes. And if we do, we'll enter a put for probably, we'll say, late December, early January expiration. So we'll keep an eye on that. Bit Farms, Chop City, up and down. Aurora Cannabis, bit of a recovery today, but nothing significant, not much volume. Wish, huge recovery. So this is a prime example of an engulfing candle. So not only did this big green candle engulf yesterday's candle, or Friday, I keep saying yesterday, I forget that it's Monday. It engulfed Friday's candle, but it also engulfed Thursday's candle. As you can see, both of these candles, both of these bodies of these candles are within the body of today's candle. Very bullish sign. Ripster's EMA cloud still showing a downtrend, but we're getting a reversal on the RSI, which is a buy signal. So we've got our downtrend line here. I don't want to enter this play until we break up past our downtrend resistance. So as soon as we break past this, we could see a nice run up. So we've got our alert set, and if it hits, that's when we'll enter. So I'll make sure you guys know if we get that alert. BTBT with a gap down and a recovery. So as you guys know how candles work, a red candle starts at the bottom and ends at the top. A green candle starts at the bottom, ends at the top. A red candle starts at the top, ends at the bottom. So we gapped down here today. We could have started here. This candle could have started anywhere. I don't know exactly where it started. It could have started at the top, came all the way down, and then came back up. But either way, it gapped down, and now it's green for the day so far. So starting to recover a little bit on BTBT. Very low volume, though. Very, very low volume. Now, the fact that this is a symmetrical triangle, like I was saying about symmetrical triangles, they go up and down within the triangle, and by the time they hit the apex, they choose a direction. So this is quite a ways out of this triangle, this wedge, this symmetrical wedge. So if it continues, if it doesn't come back into this wedge and try to make a different decision, we could see a continuation to the downside. Definitely something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. We are very low on the RSI here. Clean Spark, nice recovery today. This is one of those $20 stocks that just goes up and down between, 20 and 10. So let's see what we got here. We have got a descending wedge, but we've got quite a ways before we get to the support or apex. So this thing could go either way. I mean, it's indicating a buy signal on the RSI just because it's so oversold. So we could see a bounce, but then again, I mean, it could come down and hit this support line before it bounces too. So we've got earnings coming up very soon. So that if we were to get into something on Clean Spark, it would be a lottery. Don't like to play earnings. A lot of times prices are it's already priced in with earnings. So you got to be careful when you're playing earnings. Don't play earnings unless you want to gamble for fun. It's the only time you should play earnings. Canopy growth, huge downtrend. This is another one of those cannabis stocks. So for Sophie Technologies, you can see we put our arrow here. What day was this? November 29th, which was last Monday. So a week ago, we put a downtrend arrow here because if you zoom out, you can see you can see the trend. This is a trend channel. So it goes up, hits resistance, comes down, bounces off support, goes up, hits resistance, comes down, bounces off support. It did the same exact thing, and it was in the middle when we put this line here. So when we put that arrow, the downward arrow, Sophie did exactly what we thought it was going to do. It was going to continue down and bounce off of support, which it's doing now. And so we could take this, and we could almost say that Sophie's going to reverse now and go in the opposite direction because it's been following a pattern. It's been following this trend channel for a long time, ever since January of 21. So January of this year, the whole year, it's been going up and down in this channel. There's no reason to think that it's going to do any different. Let's set an alert. When a stock breaks out of a trend, that's when you can see a big move. So let's say we'll set an alert here for the support. If Sophie was to bounce past support, then we could see a continuation to the downside. So we're going to set an alert here. We'll call it possible downtrend. And we'll set an alert up at the top. If it breaks past resistance, it's just the opposite. You could see a huge uptrend. So we'll call this one possible uptrend. All these alerts I set, guys, when I get the alert, I'll make sure that you guys know. But I am bullish on Sophie right now. It's looking really good. We got major support here, and it looks like it's bouncing off. Tomorrow, if it doesn't recover, or if it doesn't go to the upside tomorrow, it could be within the next couple of days because it didn't quite touch this support just yet. But it may not. It may just, bounce right here and continue upward. So matter of fact, I like this a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the playlist. I do like this a lot. Let's see if we have any kind of upward trajectory similarities here. So when it goes up, it seems to go up rather quickly. This one's not quite the same. This is a little bit slower. So just to be on the safe side, we probably want to go out to, I'd say February. Let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at these contracts here. I'll look at it in Robinhood just because Robinhood's got a good interface for looking at options, but it's terrible for actually executing options. So you guys can look at your options in Robinhood, but I would highly recommend not buying them or selling them with Robinhood. So let me share my screen here. Okay. Sophie. Here we are. Trade. Let's take a look at February. February 18th. Now, if we go back to our trajectory, it goes, the top of the channel is around $24. So I don't think I would go as high as 25. I'd probably go 22.5, 22.5, or even, let's see here, hold on. I'd probably go 22.5 here or 25. Or not 25, I'm sorry, not 25. 20 or 22.5. These are the two that I would pick. So let's take a look at those two. So for the 22.5, our delta is 25, it's kind of low. Our theta is 0.01. That's very, very low. So that's good. Theta is good. Delta is so-so. It's just under what we would want it to be. 30 is a decent delta. Anything higher than that is good. So Greeks aren't too bad on that one. Let's take a look at the 20. Delta's higher, 34. Theta's still around the same. So I like this one better. Now this is a little bit risky if you wanted to enter this play, because I'm almost thinking to wait until tomorrow. Let's go back to the chart. Okay, so whoops. Get rid of this. Undo. Sorry, I got to figure out how to get rid of this stupid pen now. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, so back to the chart. So if you look in the past, you can see that every time it goes down, it hits this line. It hits this support line. It hits the support line before it goes all the way back up. Sometimes it came down, didn't quite hit the support line, started to go back up, but then came down again. It didn't go all the way back up to the resistance. It didn't go all the way back up to the resistance until it actually touched this support line. When it touched the support, that's when it went back up, all the way back up to the resistance. Came back down, didn't quite touch support, started to go back up, didn't go all the way up, came back down, touched the support line. Started to go up, came down a little bit, didn't touch support. Well, this time it actually, this time it actually did go all the way up before it touched support. But you could consider this, you know, I mean, we're looking at the daily, so you're going to have red and green candles in between. This is a little bit more of a choppy uptrend here than these other ones are. I do like the buyer's candle here. I do like the fact that we have a buy signal on the RSI. I do like the fact that we can go as far out as February and the contracts are still somewhat cheap. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this out. We're going to use the $20 strike price, but you guys can also do the 22.5 if you want. So let me put this out real quick. Sophie. And our strike is $20. Call. It's $1.21 for the premium with a February 18th expiration. Now, when we set our stop loss, we want to set it below our current support line. So let's say our stop loss is probably going to be about 20%. Let's keep it nice and tight stop loss. Now let's make it 30% just because we didn't quite touch this line yet. So 30% should bump us down below support. So we'll make it a 30% stop loss. All right, Windows Shift S so that I can copy this chart for you guys. So you have a visual when you decide on whether you want to enter it. Sophie is bouncing off of major support and has a tendency, spelled tendency wrong. Good thing for spell check. To continue the trend within the channel. Okay, so there's our swing for today. We'll look for some more, but we got one out at least. I like Sophie. It looks good. All right, so moving on. Rocket. Very choppy. Chop City here, just up and down, up and down, up and down. Not enough touches here at this support line to really call it a descending wedge. It's more of just a downtrend. But I don't like it. It's too choppy. American Airlines, huge move on American Airlines today. Very nice recovery on airlines, on American Airlines. The fact that we didn't quite get back up to this old support line kind of shows some chop here, and it kind of worries me about tomorrow also. So I don't know if we're going to see a continuation tomorrow or if it's just going to chop now. So I'm just going to leave American Airlines alone. We missed out on this, but honestly, it would have been extremely difficult to predict that American Airlines was going to do this today. That was just kind of out of the blue. Other than a buy signal here on the RSI, you know, I mean, that's all we really had there, unless you guys see something else, but I'm not really seeing anything else. Caught us off guard. Tattooed Chef, starting a recovery. We still have a play open for Tattooed Chef. Still bullish on Tattooed Chef in the long term. It did break down past our symmetrical wedge a little bit here, but I'm hoping that it comes back up into our channel. It looks like it's starting to. I'm not too worried about it. Still have until December 23rd before our Tattooed Chef expiration. So not too worried about Tattooed Chef, especially in the long term, bullish in the long run, because you can see this. We got our symmetrical triangle here. And a lot of times at the end of a symmetrical triangle, you're going to make a move. So when you get to the apex, you're going to make a move on your symmetrical triangle. And if you're bullish on a stock, you're thinking that it's going to go up. So I'm bullish on it. I'm thinking that this stock is going to go up when it hits this wedge, or when it hits the end of the wedge here at the apex. Probably around halfway through next year, we'll see a huge move on Tattooed Chef. So leap options are not a bad idea for this stock. Smith & Wesson, huge gap down on earnings. So this is what I mean about earnings. Like, we had our downtrend channel here. We had our cup and handle. We were waited for the alert. We didn't get in early. We were patient. It never broke out of the channel. And then we had earnings and we had a massive gap down. So it's a good thing we didn't enter a call on this, because we would have lost big. However, we are starting to get a bit of a recovery here. So you do have a buy signal on the RSI. But we could see some choppage for a while, because when you have a big gap like this, a lot of times you'll see chopping before it starts to recover. So we'll draw a channel here. For my gaps, I draw them with a parallel channel. And I'll go from the bottom of the previous wick to the top of the next day's wick where the gap was. That is a massive gap. Let's set an alert for a possible gap fill. More times than not, the gap gets filled on stocks that cause a gap. But the question is when. That's the hard part, is predicting when. This is just something we're going to have to keep an eye on, see if it chops, see if it starts to recover, see if it enters this channel. If it does, we'll get an alert and I'll let you guys know. Charge point. I'll let you guys take a look at this downward descending wedge while I go get a drink. You guys take a look at that and tell me what you think. I'll be right back. I got to grab some water. Okay, I'm back. Let's see here. If you guys want to unmute yourselves, you can. So what I'm seeing here for charge point is a descending wedge. I'm seeing it bounce off of the resistance up here, and then come back down and bounce off support. So for charge point holdings, I would expect to see, let's get our little arrow thingamajig. I would expect to see it come back up. And you know what? Let's look at our trajectories. I like to do this. I like to see what the angle was of the uptrend last time. So we've got one there. We've got one there. And so if it continues with the same angle as the last time, as the last two times, then we should see something like this. So it's also very oversold. And so I'm liking this. Keep an eye on it. If you guys like it enough to enter a play, we can look at some contracts. I'm gonna go ahead and share my phone real quick with you guys so you can see it. Wish there was a faster way to switch between these two. All right. So charge point. We're probably looking at late December or mid-December even. Actually, December 23rd sounds perfect. So we go December 23rd, and we're probably looking at around either $24 or $25. Why is it on put? Buy, call. And look at the $24 one. Delta's 30, that's not terrible. Theta's 04, that's not terrible. We could even play it safer and go to 23. That puts our delta at 37. Let's see what 23.5 is. Delta's at 33. Yeah, so you could really pick any one of these because December 23rd, between $23 and $25, you could pick any one of those. And I'm going to show you why. I'm not going to put on an alert out for this. I'm just showing you guys this in case you're watching and you're looking for another play to get into. This wouldn't be a bad one. Matter of fact, I'm going to add this to the free plays. We'll give this one to everybody. I'll put this one under free alerts. I'm going to show you guys why these are good contracts. So I'm going to go back to sharing the charts. Let's go back to the charts here. So remember when we put our angle of our uptrend, we're bouncing off here. We're bouncing off of the support. We've got our angle of our other uptrends. This is the angle that it's taken. By the time it hits resistance here, it's going to be around $25. All right. And if you look at the vertical line, we're at December 23rd, right on the money. Okay. So if it does come up to $25, if it does follow the previous trajectories, we'll see $25 by December 23rd. But we don't want to do, I mean, you could do 25, but I like to play it safer and go lower. So I'd probably do 23 or 24. Let's do 23 for the free alert. 23C. Current cost is $1 or $100 per contract. The 12/23/21 expiry. And we will do a 40% stop loss. Let me copy this chart here so I can post it in there. I'm not giving many free plays, but I want a lot of the people that are not subscribed to see what they're missing. All right, let's give that one to the free one. But I do like it. I do like how it's bouncing off support. I do like the trajectory of the uptrend. Everything looks good with this. We're down low of the oversold on the RSI. Oh shit, I just realized that earnings is tomorrow. Okay. I'm gonna add this to, I'm gonna say lotto. Lotto play with earnings. All right, that's a lotto play, guys. If ChargePoint beats earnings, we could see a really nice run. So this is a lotto. Still not bad. It still looks good. But like I said, earnings is dangerous. So just keep an eye on it. All right, moving on. Purple still in its downtrend. Just purple, man. It's one of those ones that doesn't seem like it's ever going to stop going down. This is one of those ones that just keeps going. And we've got our support way down here. Might not even be a bad idea to enter puts on purple, like long-term puts. And I don't normally recommend that, but you guys know me, I like to do these trajectories for the downtrends. And if you look at the current trajectory on the daily, you got something like that. If it continues, and bounces off support, it's not going to bounce off support until the end of the month. So if you guys wanted to enter puts on purple, that might not be a bad idea. Bearish on purple. Playboys, cup and handle. I'd probably give it another day or two to see if it's going to break out of this handle. This is a pretty good looking cup. A little choppy at the bottom of it, but it's still a pretty good looking cup. Pretty good looking handle. So a lot of times with a cup and handle pattern, what happens is it'll form this cup here, and then you'll form a downtrend handle, and then it'll break out of the top, which we've already got our alert set. It'll break out of the top of the handle, and then you'll see a nice run up. But looking at the RSI, we're not oversold yet, which kind of worries me. So if this continues downward for another day or two, it's going to be about halfway this candle here. And actually, let's just draw this over. I'd say right about this line right here. Couple more days. Give it a couple more days. If not, then we're just going to consider it a downtrend. All right. 1 second here, guys. Okay. All right, I'm back. All right. NCLH, another descending wedge where this is one of those that we thought was going to bounce off of the support, but it didn't. It actually broke, gap down past support and then continued on its downtrend. But this is another one of those transportation stocks. You got airlines. This is a cruise line. So transportation stocks did very, very well today. And NCLH is no different. Look at this massive green candle. So, but again, I mean, we've got a lot of chop here and it could continue to chop. So I'm not loving it right now. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if it enters back into the channel or if it continues on its downtrend. Posh, we got a nice engulfing candle here, nice big green engulfing candle. I like what I'm seeing there. It looks like the Ripster EMA cloud is starting to get, the red is starting to get smaller and reverse. If we zoom way in, you can see it's starting to form an uptrend a little bit. It's not green yet, but it's starting to get there. We do still have a gap to fill. We've got our alert set for that. We're oversold on the RSI, but we're starting to get a little bit more towards, you know, the halfway mark. Discovery, let's zoom out here and see what we got on Discovery. Okay, so downtrend with a hump at the end of it. We started breaking out past this downtrend resistance again, but it did it once and then it came back down. And this may start acting as a support. So we'll see if this continues upwards and starts acting as a support, then we can look at that trend. We do have a major resistance line here that if it breaks past, we could see a run up. So we've got our alert set for that. Plug power did nicely today. Nice recovery on plug. Let's draw a support line. So we want our horizontal line for our support line. That way it goes all the way across. And we've got some pretty decent support right around here. Right around there, right around where it's at. It's bouncing right around support. So this is an old resistance line. So this could actually come up and hit this resistance line and just start chopping in this channel. So I'm not really loving it yet. It's just one of those things that we got to keep an eye on and keep an ear out for our alerts. AT&T just chopping below the descending wedge, still on a downtrend, not looking too good. Riot, bit of a recovery today. Look at what this did. We predicted it was going to come down and look what it did. Boom, all the way down to the bottom of the channel. It literally bounced off of our support line perfectly. Like, look at this. So this is another one of those trend channels, guys. But at the same time, this is one of those where it needs to be backed by Bitcoin actually making moves. So this one goes up and down in between this channel here. So we bounced off the bottom of the channel at the support. So as long as Bitcoin is somewhat bullish, at least, we could see this come back up to hit that resistance again. So let's try to take a look at our trajectories here for our uptrends. Something like that. And this one's a little bit different. I would expect this to come back up and hit our resistance line probably by the end of January. But we could see some chopping until then. As you can see over here, when it got down to the bottom and started bouncing, you know, we saw a lot of chop for a good week before it actually started to make a move. So it's just another one of those that we're just going to have to keep an eye on. Corsair, with SPY having a bit of a recovery today, so did Corsair, but I'm still a little bearish on it. We do have a very oversold RSI though, so if it's going to recover, let's find our support. So here's our horizontal line for support. You could say we've got support here. Very strong support here. But I'm just not seeing any support where it is currently. Where it bounced, there's no support there. So it could just have been a buy signal from the RSI is why it bounced. But I'm personally still bearish on Corsair for now. With the holiday season coming though, you never know. A lot of people could be buying their significant others, graphics cards and stuff. So who knows? Anything can happen with the market. Telos Corporation, choppy, broke out of the trend channel. It was in a very nice trend channel for quite a while. This is what I mean with a stock breaking out of a channel. So this was a nice trend channel, and then it had an earnings gap, which broke it out of that channel, and now it's just kind of chopping. You know, it came in, it had a downtrend for a little while, and now it's just kind of chopping outside of the channel. It does still have a gap to fill. So like I said, we've got our alerts set and we'll keep an eye on it. MP, just chopping. This is one of those that already made its move. So we had our ascending wedge. It made its move and then it started its uptrend. So now it's just been chopping the past week or so. Dave & Buster's descending wedge made its move, broke down past support and hit a downtrend. Now it's just chopping. Neo, super bearish on Neo right now. So look at this wedge. So again, this is another one of those ascending wedges. When it gets to the apex, it chooses a decision. And then now with these Chinese stocks and all the FUD surrounding them, super, super bearish on Neo. It made its decision, it went downwards, and it looks like it's trying to continue. We do have oversold on the RSI and the daily. We do have a strong buy wick for today, but it's still down. It's still red for the day. So we could see a continuation. So bearish on Neo. I think it's going to continue downwards. And let's see, did it bounce off of the support here? So we've got support. Got support here. It actually shot past that support, but then recovered. We don't have support again until right around here. Then we've got more support down here. We've got more support way down here. So this could be a huge move downward if it continues, which with all, like I said, with all the FUD surrounding Chinese stocks, I would not be surprised if this thing continues to tank. Sorry for whoever's holding these. That's just my personal opinion. Harley Davidson, just Chop City. Uber, nice big green candle today. Nice big green engulfing candle. Almost an engulfing, not quite, but close. But still choppy. And this old support is acting as resistance now. So it's kind of bouncing off of this old support line. We've got our alert set. If it does break past this support, old support, new resistance line, then it could re-enter the channel. We could see a play to the upside. We'll keep an eye on it. Delta Airlines, another one of the airlines. They did good today, gapped up. Started to re-enter this channel that they were in, but then bounced back down. And now, again, this old support, this was support where you can see how it bounced off of the support line. Now, since it broke down past that, it's using this old support line as resistance. So now it's hitting the support line, old support, and it's bouncing off of it. And it's acting as resistance. Farfetch, just choppy. Got some green chop going on. Some nice buy wicks, but I'm not really liking it too much. We'll see what happens as it gets closer to the apex of this ascending or descending wedge. MGM, lots of chop. Hood, still tanking. Pfizer, huge red candle today. And I'm guessing that's because some news came out on the Omicron variant that was saying that they're not too worried about it. Things are looking good. So I'm guessing that's why Pfizer went down today. United Airlines up, another one of those airlines. Now this actually filled the gap today. Did we get an alert for this? I don't think this alert triggered. We should have gotten an alert for this. And then we didn't have an alert set for the gap fill, but we should have still gotten one here. I don't think I ever got that alert. That would have been a nice play to get into. Well, we can get rid of this now. We can get rid of this gap because it's already been filled. So now we've still got our alert set for this resistance line. We've still got support right around here. And we can draw another line right around here. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on UAL. I don't know what these airlines and cruise lines are gonna do. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on them and see what happens. AMC just chopping. Coors choppy. Wells Fargo super choppy. It's chop city there. GDRX same thing, just choppy. Lots of chop today. Chop, 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 or this week and last week. Chop on lift. When I say chop, I mean it's like going up and down in a very small range. So it's going up $1, down $1, up $1, down $1, and just kind of going flat. Very choppy. Pins, very large engulfing candle today. Very oversold on the RSI. If we extend this channel, I used to draw these support and resistance as red and green, but I've since kind of swayed away from that and I just use all white now. Too many colors on the chart is kind of confusing sometimes. So I'm starting, I mean, if we look at this from a technical analysis standpoint, pins looks good. Pins looks like it's about to start an uptrend, or it's at least going to bounce off of this old resistance or support line and go back up and hit resistance again. None of these uptrend trajectories are the same. These are all kind of all over the place. Bit bullish on pins right now, but not bullish enough to enter anything. So it's just another one that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Let's go to our playlist real quick. We got Sophie and we got Charge Point. One was a free play. The other one was a premium play. We've also got Disney here I wanted to relook at. So like I was saying, I think Disney could start to be seeing a reversal. Let's look at Disney and see how it actually did today. So this is a 15-minute chart. Disney had a nice run up in the morning, and it's just been kind of going flat the rest of the day. A lot of times towards the end of the day, like in the last 10 minutes or so, you'll see a pretty big sell-off on stocks that run up in the beginning of the day and run flat. You'll see a sell-off right at the last 5-10 minutes of the day. So I'd keep an eye on that. If you guys want to enter a call for Disney, I would probably wait until the last 5-10 minutes just to see what's going to happen, to see if there's a sell-off. See, here's an example. This is last 15 minutes of the day, and American Airlines had a nice run up, and now people are taking profits. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today as far as our plays go. I'll open it up for if you guys have any questions. If you want me to look at any specific stocks before we end it, let me know. Otherwise, that'll be it for today. Keep an eye out for the next video. It's going to be on TradingView and how to set it up to look like how I've got it. That should be coming out within the next couple of days. So if you guys don't, oh, Piton. Okay, sorry. Vince wants to look at Piton, so let's go ahead and look at Piton. I'm seeing chop on Piton. I'm seeing a gap that needs to be filled. So let's take our parallel channel and draw our gap. Very nice big gap there. This kind of reminds me of TAL. Let's go look at TAL real quick again. See, look at this. It's almost exactly the same thing here going on, but TAL's been doing it for much longer. Let's see if there's any news on Piton. Piton tweets teaser video showing starting December 7th. Doesn't indicate further. Buy now, pay later, boom, shows no signs of slowing this holiday season. Yeah, there's no huge news. It's very oversold. I think the problem here, Vince, was that we had a earnings gap down. And with the earnings gap down, a lot of times it takes a while. It's going sideways now. We might not see a recovery until close to next earnings. We do have a gap to fill, so I will set an alert for you. So we'll put this back over here. I'm going to make sure that this gap goes all the way in through earnings. So we'll set an alert for a possible gap fill. But other than that, it's just very, very choppy. Very, very choppy with low volume. All right, guys, that's it for today. There's no stream tomorrow. Remember, our new schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. And then Tuesdays and Fridays are open for, I think Ray might have had some stuff planned on some of those days from time to time. So keep your eyes open for that. But we may do other stuff on those days also. But for now, the afternoon streams are going to be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Make sure you tell your friends about the stream and the Discord so that we can get some more people in here. Take it easy, guys, and have a good one. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.